As we move into the year 2022, right on the heel of the Gillibrand-Rubio Amendment officially getting passed with the signing of the 2022 NDAA by President Joe Biden, and with all this new scientific interest, I recently spoke to Gary Voorhees, co-founder of UAPX, and he said that, or at least the press release from his organization stated that they believe, and this is just from my recollection, but they believe they've acquired the best evidence ever of UAP, and UAP being defined as technology beyond known technology that does not appear to represent human ingenuity. So things are really starting to escalate at a fast pace. It's really exciting. There will probably be new segments for 60 Minutes on this issue. I think that's very, very likely, and I've heard rumors of that. Elizondo has talked about how other people may come out of the government. I recollect that, as he has. And so we're primed for a quickening, if you will, with this issue. And so this takes me to the question of, if we ever do get scientific proof and officialdom admittance by the government, and so the debate's over. We finally have epistemological confidence that there are indeed objects in our airspace and in our oceans that cannot be accounted for and are beyond human technology. If that ever takes place, will it raise human consciousness? Will it have some sort of positive rippling effect throughout the nations? And many people have speculated about that and humored that and said that they believe that's the case. I believe that's the case. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the case. But there are some UFO prophets or UFO gurus, call them what you will, who think it's going to happen because the answers are suddenly going to be provided, right? They're going to explain to the world, oh, yeah, I know about UFOs. I saw one. I experienced one. So this is how it works. This is the agenda of the phenomena, and this is what it all means. And they seem to give the impression by them giving their speeches and writing their books that that's going to be the catalyst for humanity's consciousness being raised as it relates to the phenomena itself. And I laugh at that. I think that's very naive, and I think that's very short-sighted, and I don't think that's a spiritual or egoless position. And this is just my take. Maybe I'm wrong. This is my take. My take is that if we ever get this epistemological proof and officialdom admittance of this phenomena, it will raise our species up on account of not having the answers. We can read John Mack all we want. We can interview thousands of experiencers, and yet what you'll find is there are going to be contradictions and different opinions, and their experiences are subjective and so forth. We can look at Skinwalker Ranch. We can look at the hitchhiker phenomena and how bizarre that is. There's a reason that some people say we shouldn't call it the phenomenon, because the phenomenon suggests it's one thing. And so this idea we're going to have the answers for something that might be so multifaceted that we can't even wrap our heads around it is just patently absurd. And something that's been discussed recently and has been discussed in the past as well. It was claimed that in a private conversation, Luis Elizondo said, we know who's in the flying saucers. We know who's in the triangles. It's us and them, whatever that means. But we don't know who's in the Tic Tacs. Now, I have no idea if Elizondo really said that. I'm just telling you what someone claimed, and I would suggest taking it with a grain of salt. Now, now I know that researcher Joe Murgia contacted someone he trusts and ran that statement by the person he trusts, and the person he trusts said, yeah, that's true. So let's humor that being true. that the U.S. government knows who's in the saucers. And the statement was that who is in the saucers are ultra-terrestrials. That meaning that the entities in the saucers are somehow native to this planet. And let's say the U.S. government knows who's in the triangles and doesn't know who's in the Tic Tacs. Does that answer the great mystery? I would argue it doesn't even come anywhere near answering the great mystery. It's like even if you retrieve biological entities through a UAP crash, great. Now you know that it's, at best, you know that maybe it's not artificial intelligence that is solely in control of these technologies. But even that can't be known for certainty because artificial intelligence could potentially create biological robots. And even if you knew some of the entities in the craft, would you know their true agenda and their true culture? You may get hints, you may form hypotheses, but like, do you really know? And when we're dealing with a covert intelligence or intelligences, you're really just going to take everything they say or do at face value, considering the measures they take to control the degree to which they are perceived by human beings in our institutions. That seems a little bit incoherent to me. But the point I'm trying to make is, even if governments have more information than us or better theories than us, that doesn't necessitate that they have all the answers. In fact, it probably just means they have better questions than we do, frankly. And so my point is that, contrary to what some of the UAP prophets think, it's not going to be them getting on a pedestal and explaining to the world how this all works and what it all means that's going to unite humanity or raise our consciousness. On the contrary, it will be the fact that we have so many questions and so few answers. It will be the catalyst for the raising of consciousness. Because if we had all the answers, well, then we can just sit back and say, oh, that's great, we got all the answers. Let's just, let's move on. It's the questions that will drive us. It's the questions that we elicit conversations around the dinner table, around the water cooler. It's the questions that will facilitate us thinking things and asking questions to ourselves we've never humored before as we go to sleep at night. It is the mystery that has the potential to some extent help us to pay less attention to our petty differences as a human species and unite in an objective and in a mission to figure out what is going on. There are literally technological vehicles in our airspace and oceans. They're zipping around doing what they do, and we don't have good answers. That drives humanity to unite in a mission and an objective. That creates commonality of interest because we all can find common ground with one another, no matter what nation or creed or culture we come from, that you know what? It's worthwhile to get the answers on this great enigma. So my point is that whenever I see a UFO guru or UFO prophet seemingly suggest, at least that's my subjective interpretation, that they have all the answers and that they're going to explain it to you, and that's the beauty of the post-disclosure world. The beauty of the post-disclosure world is I'm going to tell you all what this all means. No! Ridiculous. Ego. The beauty of the post-disclosure world is that we lack the answers and we're going to find them collectively, scientifically, even spiritually, if you will, through conversation, through poring over the literature, through scientific investigation, through debate. Yes, let's debate it. Who is so smart or so well-read or so has been taken against the wheel so many times that they can authoritatively give you the answers? I don't think anybody. Yeah, let's debate it, baby. Let's discuss it. Let's acknowledge. Let's have humility epistemological humility. That's the beauty of a post-disclosure world, in my opinion. Now, if it turns out the U.S. government really had all the answers, okay, I'll be like, I was off the mark, and I will stand corrected. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I don't think the government has all the answers. I don't think experiencers have all the answers. And let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say they knew everything there was to know about one species that's engaging us. Well, what if there's 20 more species? That means they have almost no answers, a tiny fraction of the answers. So it is the question, it is the mystery, it is the enigma that will inspire us and potentially and hopefully ignite greater cooperation amongst our people, nation to nation. Not the answers. It's the objective of trying to figure out how can we get the answers that's going to raise the excitement and unite people, not, hey, this is how it works. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not trying not to be rude, but it just seems like people are so off track that think it's the answers and it's the explanations that's going to raise human consciousness in a post-disclosure world. When to me, I see it so categorically different. It's the question. It's the objective to get answers. And that might take a very long time. And even when we think we're making progress, we may only be scratching the surface. So let's be humble. Let's be humble that this is a mystery that deserves debate. It deserves differing opinions. So anyone that tries to tell you, hey, I got the answers, and the debate you're having with me or trying to have me is inappropriate, I would tell you that this person is maybe overly confident, and maybe that's not a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing. So the theme of this video is, in a post-disclosure world, if it is true, and maybe it's not, but if it is true that such revelations will benefit humanity, I think it will be as a result of having so many questions, not a result of having the answers. And it seems to me some UFO gurus see it differently. But that's all I got to say about that. Thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can check out my merch shop where I sell t-shirts. You could become a patron. You could become a YouTube member. You could even give me a one-time donation. All of those links are in the description below, or you could just slap a like on this bad boy and I'll appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And also, I'm working on a Gillibrand Rubio amendment analysis, so that should come out fairly soon. And thank you again for your support. I really appreciate it. Bye. Special thanks to all YouTube members, patrons, those that have bought merch, those that give me one-time donation. I couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.